Okay. So the very first chapter of algebra is linear equation in two variables, which carries almost the 12 marks of the chapter. The weightage over here is of 12 marks. The general form of this equation of linear equation is ax plus by plus c. Now, why is it called as linear equation? Because of the power of each variable over here is raised to 1. That is why it is called as linear equation. That means the highest power of the variable is 1. It's called as linear equation. And the main purpose is to solve these two equations and get the value of x and y. Now, these two equations can be solved in using various ways. The three ways which we are dealing in this chapter is algebraically, graphically, or by Cramer's rule. Now, in algebraically, you would be having two equations. Say, for example, 2x plus 3y equals to 5 and x plus 6y equal to 2. You want to find the value of x and y. What do? Is we try to make the coefficient of either x or y same by using by finding LCM of the two numbers, LCM of the coefficient, and thus you get either the value of x and y. And when, if say for example, if you get the value of x, what you can do is you can substitute the value of x in any of the equation and get the corresponding value of y. Graphically, how do we solve graphically is you have to plot both the equations on your graph on the x-axis and y-axis. Plot the points. How do we plot the points? Is you form a table. You form a table for the first equation, that is 2x plus 3y equals to 5. Say for example, you get a line like this, okay? And then you plot the graph for the second equation. You get a line like this, yeah. Wherever these two coordinates intersect, that is going to be your value of x and y. How can we check whether the value of x and y is correct or not? Substitute these values of x and y in both the equations or in any of the equation in the left hand side part, and you should get the value of RHS. Thus you can come to know that your value of x and y is correct or not. Now the third method which we have is Cramer's rule. In order to understand Cramer's rule, first we will find out how to find out the determinant value. Yeah, this is in the form of A, B, C, D. How can we find determinant value? Is this A into D minus the value of B into C. That is how you get the value of determinant. Yeah. In order to find the value of x and y using Cramer's rule, say let's consider the same example 2x plus 3y equals to 5, and the second equation is x plus 6y equals to 2. Yeah. So, what would be the value of d over here? Is the value of d would be the coefficient of x and y, that is 2, 3, 1, and 6. Yeah. So, how in using Cramer's rule we do what? 2 into 6 minus 3 into 1. That is 2 into 6 minus 3 into 1. Whatever the value you get over here, you would get it as 9. That is the value of d. Now, how do we find the value of dx? Dx means what? Simply substitute the x coordinates by the value of its c. That means it would be, now instead of x coordinate, that is 2 and 1, I would substitute it by 5 and 2 over here, and your y coordinate would be same. Same way you find dx by using determinant a d minus bc. You get the dx value. And what would be the x value? X value would be dx over d. That is what you call as the Cramer's rule. Using Cramer's rule, you can find the value of x. And similarly, you can find the value of y. Yeah. Now, the second chapter is quadratic equation. Its general form is ax square plus bx plus c. Its equation is called as quadratic when the highest power of the variable, highest power is what? 2. Yeah. Um, how can you find the, we can find the roots and the factors by using three ways. The first one is factorization, second is completing square, and third one is formula method. What do you mean by factorization? Factorization means what? Say for example, if I have an equation x square minus 5x plus 6 equals to 0. So I can find the factors for this. You split the middle term, you find the two values such that their addition is 5 and their multiplication is what? 6. Yeah, positive 6. That is called as factorization, the one which we had we would have learned in grade 8 and 9. Completing square method. Completing square method is a way wherein you try to bring your LHS in the form of x minus 3 the whole square or something equals to a constant value over here. You try to bring it in the form of a complete square, then you take square root and thus you get the value of x. Yeah. And formula method. What is formula method? In order to understand formula method, first we need to understand how to find the discriminant value. Discriminant value, we use the formula b square minus 4ac. What is the meaning of b square minus 4ac? You take the coefficient of x, square it, minus 4 into coefficient of x square and multiplied by the constant. Okay. How to understand the nature of the roots? If the discriminant value is greater than 0, that means roots are real. That means you can get a value of the x and they are unequal. Unequal means what? They are not same. If the discriminant value is 0, that means they are real. Real means what? It's not in the form of imaginary number, and they are equal roots. Equal roots means what? X, both the value of the roots will be, say for example, 3 in our case. Yeah, so x equals to 3. Both the values are same. And if d is 0 less than 0, that means you cannot solve that equation. Yeah. What is a formula? Can I say we can find the value of x only and only when the discriminant value is greater than 0 and equal to 0. Yeah. If it's less than 0, there are no chances that we can find the value of the roots. So if d is greater than or equal to 0, what will be the value of x? It will be minus b plus minus root of b square minus 4ac upon 2a. It's a very easy formula. You just have to remember minus b over here plus minus b square minus 4ac is your d determinant that you have found, and upon 2a. 2a means what? 2 into multiplied by the coefficient of the x square. Okay, how do we find sum of the roots over here is minus b over a. Say for example, my equation is minus 5x, x square minus 5x plus 6 equals to 0. So what would be the roots over here? The factors would be x minus 3 and x minus 2. So roots would be equals to x equals to 3 comma 2. So what would be the sum of the roots? It would be minus of minus 5 because b value over here is minus 5. Yeah, so minus of minus 5, that is positive 5 over 1. So if you can check, it would be 2 plus 3 equals to 5. It's the same. Yeah. Similarly, product of roots is what? Is c over a. C over a means what? 6 over 1. Yeah. So we can do it directly. Yeah. If I want to find the sum of my roots, instead of doing the complete process, we can directly use the formula minus b over a and c over a. Now, what else we can do using the sum of the roots and product of the roots? We can form a linear equation x square minus, say for example, if you already have roots with you in the question, if they have given us the roots value 3 comma 2 and we have to find the equation, then what we can do? X square minus, what was the sum of roots over here? It would be 2 plus 3, right? The 2 plus 3 is what? Minus 5x plus product of the roots. So for us, the product of the roots would have been c over a. C is what? 6. And over here is 1. Yeah, so let's just see if it's correct now. So what is the product of the root? Product of the root would have been 2 into 3, that's a 6. So it gives us the same equation again. Yeah, so that is what the use of sum of the roots and product of the roots is, and you can get the equation back using these two. Now the next chapter is AP, arithmetic progression. How do you come to know whether a sequence is in AP or not? Say for example, I have a sequence 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and so on. Yeah. So what do we have to do is, if your T2 minus T1, T2 stands for second term minus the first term is the same as third term minus second term, fourth term minus third term. That means if the difference is constant, if the difference value is same, we can say that the series is in AP. Over here, T2 minus T1 is called as D. That means the second term minus first term is called as difference. And what do you mean by A over here is first term is called as A. Tn, if I want, I cannot keep on doing this till 100th term. Okay, if I want to find the T100 value, what you can do is you can use this formula, simply just substitute the values. A value would be 2 plus N stands for what? The term which you want to find, the index of the term which you want to find. So that's what 100. So 100 minus 1 is 99 into D. D value is what? D value for us in this case is 2. Yeah, so there's a formula. You can calculate this value and check what would be the T100 value be. If I have 3 consecutive terms which are in AP, we would write it as A minus D, A and A plus D. And if there are 4 consecutive terms which are in AP, A minus D, A plus D, and A plus 2D. Now, SN formula. SN means what? Say, for example, I want to find the sum of these 100 terms, that is 2 plus 4 plus 6 plus 8 plus 10 plus 12 plus. We cannot keep on adding it practically, right? So, we have a formula for that over here. Say, for example, S100. SN stands for what? Sum of what all terms you want. S100 equals to N by 2. N stands for what? Over here, the number of terms the sum of terms which I want to find. So, 100 by 2 in brackets 2 into A. A means, as we have discussed, A is the first term plus N minus 1, that is 100 into D. D is what? 2. Okay. Now the weightage for these chapters is, we can find out this value by mere doing calculation. Okay. But mind you, we have to follow the BODMAS rule. We have to calculate the brackets first and then substitute the value. Now we saw the weightage of chapter number 1 was 12 marks. Weightage of chapter number 2 is as 12 marks as well. So very important chapter. These two are highest scoring chapters. And the weightage of AP is 8 marks. Okay. Thank you.